As I enjoyed your sharing, your joy, a lot of memories came to me tonight. Let me share, if you will, let me share some of them with you. When I was first ordained a priest, the bishop sent me to work with youth. So I had a lot of memories of things like this come flashing back to me. I taught at St. Rachel's Academy when I was first ordained for 5 years, worked in Kentucky with youth. And a lot of those memories come back to me tonight. Another memory that comes back to me, even more especially, happened around 1970 to 1975 at what they call the St. Margaret's Saturday Night Coffee House in Rumford, Rhode Island, where John Polsey, who had just been filled with the Holy Spirit like many of you, started a little group with his music. And it grew like topsy, just grew and grew and grew, filled the whole church, like you have with your seminars, your weekend seminars, so striking, and the explosion, youth explosion. What you're doing reminds me very much of those days with John Polsey. And they were important days. God raised up a lot of youth like you and made them important people in the church today. One of them being Jose Rico, your deacon. That's where he got a start at a group like this, the St. Margaret's Cellar in Rumford, 1970, 1975. He went there one night, kind of skeptical, didn't want to go. He was around 18 years old. You probably heard him tell the story himself. And the Holy Spirit struck him while the music was playing and people were teaching. And he came home, he never looked back, as you can see. God got a hold of him, and I think you will agree with me that God is still using him many years later. Jose is one person that the Holy Spirit got a hold of, and he's never looked back. We owe him a lot for even tonight being here. Third memory I want to share with you about youth was happened in 1993. I was pastor here at St. Charles, and Pope John Paul II, who had a great love for youth like you, had his first World Youth Day in America, in Denver. And we wanted to go, and 80 of our young people went to Denver. I don't know how they got there, different ways, bus, car, plane. 80 of our youth like you went to Denver for an amazing week with John Paul II. The last day was in fact it was the Feast of the Assumption, like tomorrow. The last day was the August 15th, 1993. I'll never forget that week. Probably the most peaceful week I've ever experienced in my life. A week with the Pope. And the last night, we had an all-night vigil, and the Pope was there. 500,000 young people in Denver. Incredible. And a lot of that force and power came back to St. Charles and helped build up what was happening here. And so a lot of memories come to me tonight about the Holy Spirit working with youth. In fact, the whole, if I think of it now, the whole charismatic renewal that swept the world began with youth. College kids, high school kids, college kids, like Ralph Martin, Kevin Renahan, I don't remember these names, but they were only like in college when the Holy Spirit got a hold of them, used them to help spread the work of the Holy Spirit in the church all over the world, so that through their efforts and through this work that started with youth, see how the Lord loves youth and works with them. Over 100 million Catholics worldwide have now been baptized in the Holy Spirit, finished Life in the Spirit seminars, and have been renewed. Again, a very powerful youth movement. Then after that, after I worked with youth for a while, the Lord sent me into parish work. And 2 parishes he sent me to. First as an assistant at St. Patrick's on Smith Hill. And so the Holy Spirit do wonders there, but I'll skip most of that. But my focus began to turn towards parish life. And in 1978, Bishop Gellinor, who was the bishop then, sent me here to St. Charles. To see a whole area where we're sitting tonight. And it's good to be here. But what he said to me was, John, the parish is in tough shape. See if we should close it down. And I didn't know exactly what he meant until we came here the first weekend I came here, 4 or 5 masses, and I said, well, I said Saturday night mass, and maybe 50 people at it. And I said, well, they must all go on Sunday. The first mass on Sunday, there were 25 people. The 10 o'clock, I said, well, the 10 o'clock mass must be the big one, 75 people. And then there was another one, 11:15, maybe with 50. I said, I know what the bishop meant. The church was in debt. Most of the people, originally French people, lived in this area. That's why you notice the windows of the church are all written in French. This French Canadians built this church, and by the school was closed down. The area was pretty tough. People had moved out a lot, and the diocese was thinking of closing the parish down. In fact, my mission, I guess, was to come here and close it down. But I didn't want to close the church down, and the Holy Spirit didn't. And so we began to, I had been touched deeply myself by the Holy Spirit, and I was like at that coffee house stage with John Polsey and Jose around that same time. Even though I was a priest for like 15 years, I had a new thrust of the Holy Spirit when I was 40 years old. It gave me new life. And it was with that new life that I came here and I said, we're not going to close this parish down, are we, Lord? We want to build it up, don't you? And He began to. We began to evangelize. The Holy Spirit led us to evangelize in many ways. Like I went on radio to evangelize and try to draw people into the area. And that began to work. Even though, I'll show you how tough it was. We built a radio station in the rectory, John Polsey and I. And one day I got a sick call to the Rhode Island Hospital one Saturday afternoon. And I locked the rectory door, went to the hospital. When I came back, the whole rectory had been ransacked. The whole radio station stolen. All the pieces of equipment. It was discouraging, but somebody gave us a guard dog to guard the rectory, and we plugged in and started over again to try to build things up. And the Holy Spirit worked wonderfully. And the parish began to come alive again, but the struggle to survive was still there. In fact, about 2 or 3 years after I was here, Bishop Angel, the auxiliary bishop, came to me one Sunday and said, John, I think we better merge Assumption and St. Charles parishes together. Close down one of them. It's too much. They're both in trouble, struggling. We had to put a lot of work into rebuilding the church, fixing the brickwork and everything. In fact, while I was pastor here, believe it or not, we spent over $1 million fixing this church up. But anyhow, we begged Bishop Angel to give us another chance, give us more time, give the Holy Spirit more time to work, and the Holy Spirit did. The Holy Spirit, as you know, began to build up this parish, and build it up, and build it up. And then, as you know, one of the great things that happened was we started an Hispanic ministry. Hispanic people began to move into the area, and that was a great boon to the life of the parish. We hired Jose as a pastoral minister. He later went on and became a deacon, and Spanish Mass began to become the biggest one. And now today the parish, as you know, is doing very well. So much so I see a lot of the fruit of it here tonight. Let me pass on now to say how proud I am of you and all of you who work with you and seeing new life come. Because I'm getting to be an old man, and you have to pass the torch on to new generations from you. We were praying for a youth movement to come along. For a long time nothing happened. And all of a sudden here it is. Thanks to the Holy Spirit and all of you. I see a wondrous youth movement. Probably the best one in the diocese. So big, you even stepped out in faith and hired PPAC for a youth explosion. I was there and it was wonderful. I was so proud and so happy to see all of this happening. It made me go back in memory to a lot of those things that I mentioned to you tonight. But I want to challenge you a bit also tonight. Besides saying I'm very proud of you and wish you well and pray that the Holy Spirit keep you going. The challenge is, you know your classmates. You know the young people's world that you live in. You know it better than I do, the world of YouTube and MySpace and the internet. I'm internet negative.